Welcome to some new Dirty Endurance Racing League Specialtatin, meaning the new league that's somewhat like the Dirty Endurance Racing League, which I featured in another video showcasing the information and such about it. And also something I said in the other video is that I really don't think I have good enough internet to actually race in that league. Even with having 27 megabytes of internet now instead of when I used to have 10, it still usually only shows about 50% of the people actually in the race on average when I try to race in any online lobby. Don't know why, don't know how. I'm gonna go ahead and say PD logic because that seems like the most logical answer, but tis. But anyway, because I can't exactly race in it, well, I guess the second best option would be to specialtate a race that was done in the league. And as I did in the last video, I will link in the description the YouTube channel and the GT Planet thread with all the information about the league. But this particular race, I'm just doing from GT Sport itself. It was a race that was shared on GT Sport, because that way I can go through the field as I want and then put it at whatever view. And that's just overall the best looking footage too, because it's direct from GT Sport. There are videos on YouTube, obviously, but as far as I know, I'm the first one to actually do some sort of overlay with it, like talking. So of course, I'm going to call that specialtating, but y'all can take it as you may, or whatever, who would be best to do this, but, well, this ain't bad, I guess. It's better for dirty specialtating than I've had in a long time, that's for sure, folks. That's for sure. Also, if y'all want to see particular views or whatever, leave that in the comments too, because generally, I'll put it in this view back when it was GT6. But now, in GT Sport, they've sort of changed around the field of view. Like, this view looks different in GT Sport than it did in GT6, so just whatever view you want me to have it at, or if you want me to change around the views periodically, put it in the comments if you want. But anyway, now to the actual specialtatins. This particular race, as with there's two variations of this race from what I can tell from the league. There's Group 2 and Group 3 at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. And this particular one is Group 2, and from what I can tell, it's any Group 2 goes, any tune goes, just all out. From what I can tell, the only rule is don't go backwards, I assume. So, pretty much all out brawl, do whatever you can to win. But it's also an endurance race. So you don't really have to do anything yet if you don't want to, but most people, well, if they're in a dirty room, want to at least do something. That's something meaning wreck the holy snikes out of as many people as possible. So it's like this point in the race when really that's kind of the chief thing to do. Well, that ain't it, Chief. You kind of missed. I was expecting that car, that GTR, to go pretty much straight in the wall there. I was thinking that was going to be a bigger hit than it was. But, well, that's kind of another reason I don't do as much specialtating on GT Sport with dirty racing. My online can't really handle it that good. Granted, it couldn't in GT6 either, but one of the main reasons I don't do it other than my own internet is because dirty racing physics are not the dandiest in GT Sport. Sometimes the cars go ghost, sometimes their hitboxes are weird, depending on how hard the car's hitting and all that. And just overall, it's not as good of an experience as it was in GT6 or even GT5. But that's not necessarily what this game is going for, and I've also done a previous video on that. The GT Sport and Dirty Racing community video, but it's not terrible. It's usually dirty racing does work overall best at the ovals, because there's less of a downright dive bomb, because there's less just braking. And when there's less dive bombs, that means less chance of wonky hitboxes, wonky hit physics, and overall just less ghosting, which is a good thing. But it's still not perfect. But I wouldn't exactly say that was a downright perfect move by anybody either, because it's still tight pack. I remember in GT6, maybe it was just something I got good at, or maybe just GT6 allowed it more. I was pretty good at being able to, if I was in the lead, time my hits where I'm wrecking at least 2 or 3 cars, because when you're in the lead and it's a pack, there's just that more cars there, and all the cars are behind you, so you have a better chance of causing a big wreck. Generally, if I'm in the lead, I don't just wreck one car, unless it's a 2-car breakaway, which basically doesn't happen on over GT Sport, GT6, any of the games. That's one thing GT Sport and 6 and 5 and all of them have in common, is always do create for close racing, usually. Occasionally you do sort of kind of get a runaway, but usually it sorts itself back out. But actually it's getting to the point of where I don't think anyone could run away yet, but people kind of may start thinking about it if there's some sort of team play in this. I don't really know if there are racing teams for this one. Like, I know in GT6 days there was like RPM that did dirty NASCAR, and obviously Mopar did dirty all of the things, and then I think there was other ones too, and then GT Sport, there's, well, I can't exactly see any in particular in the names that would be a team. That's for sure. Well, maybe there ain't teams anymore. Maybe it's not quite that big anymore. But, well, that can be considered a good thing, depending on your opinion of teams. But anyway, back to, like, the individual racing it's looking like, because there's really nothing to analyze in terms of who would be wrecking who more and who should be thinking about others in case they want to try to make a run up to the front, meaning like bump drafting, like who would be the better bump drafter and all that, or it's still pretty much a free-for-all. Which kind of sort of means the Specialtatin ain't quite as special, just because there's not as much to talk about, but again, it's probably more the game itself than the people in it, I would assume. That was honestly one of the benefits of the DRL. As much as you did or didn't like teams, it definitely made it interesting. I'll say that. It definitely made it interesting. And if there are teams here and I'm mistaken, leave the teams in the comments. I'll try my best to get some Team Mopar members in here, but again, I'm very iffy if it could end up being me. I don't particularly know. For now, I'm going to say it probably won't be, but things could change. But anyway, speaking of things could change, let's see how good the in-car view looks. Oh wait, you can't do the in-car view. I never understood that. Why does it seem like in a game that just has the in-car view that you can't actually really use it? I don't understand that. That's how it's always been. GT5, GT6, GT Sport. They still haven't implemented a way in which you can use the cockpit view when looking back at online races. I don't get it. Like, clearly, none of the cars seem to have a cockpit view in this. I don't know why. You'd think by now they would have added that, but at least that was a big wreck to keep you occupied, even though you couldn't see it from a first-person standpoint. At this point, the big wrecks are starting to matter. I would say everyone has a chance to catch up, but some people's bottle of ketchup might be pretty close to running out. Honestly, I don't think I would be using all my bottle of ketchup yet. I would probably try to be still pretty much in the front. But, as I've said, in sport mode, generally, I don't want to be in the big pack, but in dirty racing, it kinda doesn't matter. There's always going to be outliers, whether it's a big pack or not, that will try to wreck you, because that's the point of dirty racing. So ultimately in this, I think I'd rather just be in the front. And ultimately, that's kind of what it seems like the top two are thinking. There is some bump drafting coming into play now. Will it continue? Well, let's see where third is. It actually might, because third isn't well into their draft. Like, if they do it perfectly, first and second, third could lose the draft. Fourth is not in the draft yet, so if the top two can get third out of their draft, that could mean they get a breakaway. Or not. Will third troll the party? No, third is actually, yeah, they kind of do. They bump drafted for a minute, I guess to kind of look like they were going to be nice, and then wreck the holy snuggies out of the top two. I've done that a fair few times as well. If Team Moper is near the back and I'm the highest of the Team Mopers, then I generally will wreck the holy snuggies out of the top two. And well, I guess that worked pretty good for that driver because now they're in second, but there's starting to be a pack forming behind them. I would say now at least the top 5 cars are in the lead cars draft. And the more they keep battling, the more cars we'll get in the lead cars draft. And the more the laps wind down, the more that's truly going to matter. Because even if you don't get wrecked very hard, if you're an 8th coming around the last turn, you're pretty much out of luck 30 racing or not, just because you're not going to really expect everyone to wreck at that point. So you need to start thinking about making your move wherever you are in this general pack, which is quite a big general pack. Holy snikes. All of these cars, I would say, have a good chance to win at this. Most of these cars seem to have a pretty good chance to win at this point. Most. And I would say even them two do that wrecked each other. They did not have a big wreck. They do too, but these cars are pretty much going to have to focus because the leader somewhat had a breakaway. And given that second has the lead draft here, if second can pull off the slingshot without first wrecking them. They slowed each other down. If that car on screen would have actually been able to do it to the point in which first didn't make contact, then maybe that car would have broken away. But now it didn't, and now that caused a chain wrecks and a big wrecks, which ain't a bad thing. It's the last lap though, so if there's ever a time for chain wrecks and a big wrecks, it's definitely now. No, nobody really wrecked there. That was surprising. Again, that's GT Sports physics sort of kind of failing there, because that should have been a big wreck, but it wasn't, but the pit maneuvers still sort of kind of work. But nonetheless, that game, that driver who was the pit maneuver E and not the who got the pit maneuver, gained a whopping 1 spot from that. So this looks like it's going to be the lead battle down to the line, and it could still be maybe the top 4 all have a chance. Jiminy Cricket, there was a lot more than 4 there, it turned out. And it looks like the winner was Kathu F7, I don't know. Kath, let's say Kath. Kath got the win there in the GTR. And because GT Sport has a decent enough going back on the Tron, I'll go back a little bit to see how that driver got it. That driver was not the one on screen to begin with. So let's come down there. Apparently that driver was actually leading going into the final turn. But honestly, I don't know if I'd want to be leading going into the final turn in a dirty race on an oval. I'd want to be second or third, but I guess it worked out in the end. I'm honestly surprised that driver was able to get the wreck done. Generally, the one who has the most momentum on the straightaway gets the job done just because physics. If you have more momentum, you have a better chance of wrecking the car with less momentum, but nonetheless, that driver is on screen now. Held on. Good driving there, or bad physics there. I don't know. But nonetheless, it was still an entertaining race, and hope y'all enjoyed this. And, well, if y'all are enjoying this, and it works out to the point of this is like a thing that's positive to do, then I may continue specialtating these races. I'll see. I know it ain't quite as specialtating as GT6, especially the DRL stuff, because, well, I knew a lot of those drivers. On most of the races, I was actually able to race in myself, but this is about the best we have right now, and, well, the best we have right now is not exactly bad. There's still a whole heck of a heap of big wrecks, there's still a whole heck of a heap of good competition, and the final race literally came down to a final strategy, I guess, of being the sitting duck and blocking correctly. Whatever. The strategy worked. Maybe that is the good strategy for this game. If I specialtate these more, maybe we'll find out if it truly is the best strategy. Because there may be more specialtating to come. And, well, that may very well be worth a yeehaw.